At Camp Silverpine, summer days were filled with laughter and adventure. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, a chilling presence seemed to emerge from the woods. We had heard stories of a former camper who had been expelled for violent behavior, and rumors circulated that he returned to the camp seeking revenge. One night, during a game of hide-and-seek, a camper named Jake hid in the dense forest away from the others. As the seekers counted, Jake felt an unsettling sensation of being watched. He turned to see a figure lurking in the shadows, a malevolent glint in his eyes. Terrified, Jake fled deeper into the woods, but the figure pursued him relentlessly. It became apparent that the expelled camper, now an adult, was intent on inflicting harm. Jake managed to find his way back to camp and alerted the counselors about the dangerous intruder. The counselors searched the woods but found no trace of the man. The atmosphere at Camp Silverpine became tense, and campers were cautioned to stay in groups and avoid wandering off alone. Over the next few nights, campers reported glimpses of the menacing figure outside their cabin windows. The stranger seemed to enjoy tormenting us, leaving ominous messages and symbols near our belongings. Determined to protect ourselves, a group of us decided to set up a watch rotation, keeping an eye out for the dangerous intruder. One night, we caught sight of him trying to break into the camp's main building. In an act of bravery, we confronted the man, demanding to know why he was terrorizing us. He revealed that he held a grudge against the camp for expelling him years ago, blaming it for derailing his life. As we talked, the man's anger seemed to wane, and he appeared remorseful for his actions. We convinced him that revenge wouldn't solve his problems and offered to help him find a more constructive way to cope with his emotions. Reluctantly, the man left the camp and agreed to seek professional help. In the following days, the atmosphere at Camp Silverpine returned to normal, but the memory of the scary encounters with the dangerous individual lingered, serving as a reminder of the power of compassion and understanding. At Camp Green Lake, we were thrilled to spend our summer exploring nature and honing our outdoor skills. However, the arrival of a new camp instructor named Mr. Johnson turned our excitement into unease. Mr. Johnson was friendly, but there was something unsettling about him. He always seemed to be watching us with an intense gaze, and his conversations had an underlying sense of darkness. As the days passed, campers started to notice strange occurrences. Supplies went missing, and campers claimed to have seen Mr. Johnson lurking near their cabins at night. One evening, during a campfire gathering, Mr. Johnson shared a story about a camper who had disappeared years ago. His story sent shivers down our spines as it seemed oddly personal, like he had a connection to the missing camper. Curiosity got the better of us, and a group of campers decided to investigate. We searched through old camp records and discovered a disturbing fact. Mr. Johnson had been a camper at Camp Green Lake years ago, and he had vanished without a trace, just like the camper he spoke about. Fearful of his intentions, we reported our findings to the head counselor. They decided to discreetly confront Mr. Johnson about his past, and he revealed that he had indeed disappeared during his time as a camper, but he refused to elaborate. As the tension mounted, the camp atmosphere grew increasingly unsettling. Campers whispered about the creepy instructor, and a sense of distrust loomed over the once vibrant camp. One night, while we were gathered around the campfire, Mr. Johnson disappeared. The counselors searched for him, but he seemed to have vanished without a trace. In the days that followed, the camp's management made the difficult decision to close Camp Green Lake for the summer. The atmosphere had become too tainted with fear, and the safety of the campers was paramount. Mr. Johnson's disappearance remained a mystery, but we couldn't shake the feeling that he had never truly left Camp Green Lake. The experience left us wary, and the memory of that unsettling summer would forever haunt our thoughts of summer camp. One summer at Camp Sunhaven, I encountered a horror that still sends chills down my spine. It all began with strange letters left outside our cabins, threats and taunts that seemed to know our deepest secrets. Everyone was on edge, and paranoia spread like wildfire. We suspected each other, unsure of who was behind the sinister messages. But the truth was far more disturbing than we could have imagined. Late one night, as I lay in my bunk, I saw a shadowy figure outside my window. Panic gripped me, and I quickly turned on the flashlight. There, standing outside, was a camper named Jason, a seemingly friendly guy who had always been a bit aloof. He tried to play it off as a coincidence, claiming he had been stargazing, but I knew better. I had seen the menacing look in his eyes, and I was sure he was behind the creepy letters. I decided to keep a close eye on Jason, and my suspicions only grew. He followed campers, lurking in the shadows, always watching. It was like he was playing a twisted game with us, feeding off our fear. One night, as I was sneaking back to my cabin after a late campfire, I saw Jason holding something in his hand, a knife glinting in the moonlight. My heart raced, and I knew I had to act fast. I alerted the camp counselors and showed them the evidence of Jason's disturbing behavior. They confronted him, and he confessed to being behind the letters and the sinister stalking. The police were called, and Jason was arrested. It turned out he had a history of violent behavior and had been expelled from his previous school for harassment. The rest of the summer was filled with a mix of relief and unease. The camp authorities reassured us that we were safe, but the memory of the stalker's game would haunt us forever. The once carefree atmosphere of Camp Sunhaven was forever changed, and we learned that evil could lurk even in the most unexpected places.